CJ, I'm right in saying that you're the hometown hero this week.
That is correct. I've been living in San Antonio since I was about, I would say, 12 years old. And I'm from Texas, border town, just 2 hours south of here. So that's correct.
So how excited, I mean, look, we just saw Leon Edwards in the UK and you saw the reception he got.
Yeah.
How excited are you to be able to walk out and be like, oh man, like I'm the guy representing all the people in this arena?
I can't describe it in words, but I'll tell you this. When my first introduction to fighting overall was in high school. I had a backyard fight club. And it was about 10 miles down the road that we were fighting in backyards every single weekend. At the time, I was telling everybody that I was going to be in the UFC someday. So here I am in that full circle moment, living out that manifestation and dream that I set out to in front of my hometown crowd. I have a massive following in San Antonio. So when I go out and perform this Saturday, it is going to put this city on the map, having a fighter from the city coming up the way that I am, and bring the UFC back, put me on the main card next time.
Does any part of you want to call up all the old boys from the Backyard Fighting League and be like, this proves I'm the best that we had, right?
Literally, yeah. This is it. This is the stake in the ground. I told you I was the one.
However, on the other side of that, right, you got a lot of people coming to watch you specifically. Is there any chance the pressure starts to add up to you on fight day? You're like, damn, man, like, what could go wrong here, you know?
Of course. And that is what brought me to this position I'm in right now, is because the specific pressure that comes with being a fighter, like you said, things go really good or things go as bad as they possibly can. So for me to step into the octagon here in San Antonio and put everything that I've ever done and said on the line in front of everybody that I know and everybody that knows me is exactly what keeps me up every day, and honestly keeps me up at night sometimes. So yes, the pressure is there, and the pressure is what keeps me improving.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something that you even thought about, but if you go out on Saturday in this environment and you win and you survive under that pressure, it's almost like a statement to yourself that, well, if I can do that, there's nothing I can face in the career that can overcome my nerves and overcome the pressure.
That is 100% correct. And to be frank, my first fight for the UFC was at Madison Square Garden. So, and I lost that by close decision, but I know what it's like to be in an arena that holds a lot of weight to it. And so the event center itself isn't anything that's intimidating me, and fighting in front of my hometown is something that I've done since I was in the regional scene. So to me, this is another fight.
Yeah. How does it end? What's the perfect scenario for this fight in your mind?
Second round TKO, jumping on the cage, and the athletics commission is going to have to keep me from running into the crowd.
I was going to say you're going to do an Aldo and fly in there.
See if they can catch me.
You just opened a whole Pandora's box with the whole backyard thing.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that in high school? What kind of? How old are you when you were doing that?
So I'm 31 now. I was 15 years old when that happened. I was a freshman in high school, and I was new to the area. I was getting bullied, picked on. So I started a rumor that I was like a trained fighter. And meanwhile, I was doing all of my research. I was watching like Matt Hughes takedown videos, Chuck Liddell takedown defense videos, Tito Ortiz ground and pound stuff, and putting all the pieces together that I could. And then I'd go practice it on the tough guys from the football team or whoever it was. And, you know, I just kept getting better and better. Meanwhile, I had the passion that I had, but couldn't convince my parents to put me in a gym yet. So that's where that all started from.
Yeah. Did you start the fight club, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the
Like
star,
the CEO.
and I was the promoter. You know, we would be in like history class, for instance, right? And I would take something that, you know, this guy said in first period and take it completely out of context to another guy in seventh period and be like, yeah, well, that guy said.
You could be in the media.
So yeah, literally. I was like, no, I don't know. He said he'd beat your ass, and he said he could do it in like under 3 minutes. So I feel like we could do 3-minute rounds. I mean, you don't have to, because I get it. He's a really big guy, and I'd be kind of intimidated too. And then, you know, you kind of strike up the ego. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Texas either, but guys in Texas, there's something about us that we want to fight. We're here to fight. We want to scrap, and we're always trying to defend our honor in some weird egotistical way.
Nice. What were the rules? Is it just boxing, or were you?
It was MMA.
Okay.
It was I think for the first few events we did no elbows, but I don't know, that got kind of boring, so we started doing elbows. And then so we were doing it in my neighborhood pool, right by the neighborhood pool. But then the neighbors started, there was like kids around, people started to call the cops and stuff. So then we graduated it over to one of my best friend's backyards, and his mom was actually a registered nurse. she was like one of those cool moms, you know?
Yeah.
So she would kind of oversee this whole thing. Somebody got bloodied up or something, she'd, you know, patch them up, what have you. And nobody ever got really badly hurt. And we referee. You can actually find some of these videos on YouTube still.
Okay. Wow, that's
I'll drop a link.
Yeah. I mean, now that you're fighting in San Antonio in the UFC, is it kind of crazy to look back and be like, dude, like, literally from the backyards being a kid to now, you know, full professional UFC event?
It is for sure, because one of my major milestone goals in this career was to fight at the AT&T Center. And the next one is to be main card or main event here, and the following would be to fight for a title or defend a title here. So, yes, I mean, you set these goals out as a child, looking back at 15-year-old me. I was a kid, and it's almost like I was just faking it till I made it type of situation. And then so every now and then, with me being so self-critical, I don't give myself enough, I guess, adapt or appreciation to what I've actually been able to accomplish. So, you know, it is good to look around to where I'm at right now, where I came from, and continue to work towards what I want to be.
Yeah. So AT&T Center, you can cross that out of the list.
Cross off the list along with Madison Square.
Yeah.
Madison Square. I want to fight in Australia. I want to fight in. I've always wanted to fight in Japan. It'd be really cool to go to Japan because I love the spirit that they got over there. Watching Saitama Arena fights for Pride when I was a kid was pretty incredible.
Hi, CJ. I'm sure that you're gonna have a lot of family and friends at the fight on Saturday. But who are you gonna fight for on Saturday?
That's a great question. On Saturday, I'm going out there and I'm fighting for my younger self who dreamt this up, and I'm going to take in every ounce of hope and ambition and pride that I set out for as a child to make this dream come true, and, you know, display my entire heart and soul out in that octagon and just bleed out whatever that looks like. And I'm content with what happens, because what's happening is already happened and it's already going to happen, and I'm just here to watch it play out from inside of my body, you know. So I'm just here to do that for myself and for the people.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
How was camp this time around, and does it kind of change anything for you? Like, you know, training here, taking the travel out of it. I guess, is it a little bit different this time around, just fighting here?
So my camps are always out of San Antonio. My gym is, I don't know, 5 miles down. Boxing gym's like 8 miles that way. Strength and conditioning is super close by. And I do a lot of stuff at Lifetime too. So camp itself was, you know, as was, but, you know, to wake up on a Tuesday and not have to fly out to Vegas or New York or Phoenix. I was able to drop my son off at school, drop him off lunch a couple hours later, pick him up from school. And it was actually his birthday yesterday, so I've been grateful for the timing of this and the way it's played out, to be able to just stay home, sleep in my bed, wake up in bed, and just go down the street to the gym. And I'm actually enjoying it. I'm not going to get used to it because this is not something that's going to happen often, but I'm taking it in every day as much as I can.
And then what part of town did you grow up in, and just are you gonna have people there Saturday night supporting you and stuff?
Yeah, I was like, so when I moved here, I was in middle school, and I went to middle school like 2 miles up the highway right here, and then high school was down the loop over yonder in the sticks, you know, with all the country boys in Helotes. So, you know, within 10-mile radius, I've been in the same area past 15 years, and I have a lot of friends, of course, a lot of family, and just coming up in the regional scene through here, I've built a big following in San Antonio. So the UFC is going to see that on Saturday. I think that, with all due respect to my city, our basketball team is not great. Actually, it's one of the worst teams. The Spurs are doing terrible. So, you know, the city could really use some sort of event to pump it up, and I feel like having a fighter coming up. We have a couple boxers, you know, Mario Barrios is out here, and Bam Bam's out here, world-level guys. But to have a UFC fighter from the city, coming up in the city, getting KOs in the city, I mean, come on, man. And San Antonio was built on a fucking battle. It's the Alamo City, you know. We got a fighting spirit out here, and I'm here to bring it out, and pump it up on Saturday, blow the arena up.
Hey, CJ, you mentioned the Spurs. I mean, like you said, not too many wins in the AT&T Center this year. So
we got a win last week. I went to the game last week, and we got a dub there. So
looking
we played the Magic. Yeah,
looking to bring a dub to the city of San Antonio on Saturday night.
Hell yeah, and like an exciting dub too, not like a grind out, boring decision. Like I'm going out there to finish. I'm gonna go out there to finish him, or wake up and try to figure out what happened when he finished me. Yeah. All right, guys. See y'all cage side.